So every classroom ever has always had that one kid, that one person that is just like the class clown. And they're like the total goof, right? Like you never find out what happens to this person after high school. You just know like they continued on with their lives, and who in the hell know whatever happened. Who knows whatever happened to them. Maybe they found at Google. Maybe they got some high paying job at Microsoft. Maybe they're washing cars. Maybe they're like a homeless person. Who knows? Nobody ever finds out whatever happened to that person. But they always had that one moment. There was always that one moment in the whole school year, that one moment that they will live on in infamy in the minds of everyone who was in that class. For me, it was Algebra 2 and Geometry, and it was Jonathan Stouffer. Now, John was a class clown. He was a goof. I mean, you couldn't take him seriously. All right, he would do things like he would come into class with like a little piece of leopard skin fabric. All right, and he would just like pet it. He would hold it and pet it, and he would say it was his pet gerbil, and its name was Nibbles. It was just stuff like that. He would make like meowing sounds in the back of the class. In hindsight, it was pretty funny. But he'd make like meowing sounds in the back of the class. Kid was just outright just out of his mind. There was one time he was riding his bike home, he got hit by a car and broke his leg, and he got like the sympathy of all the girls in the school. I was like, okay, maybe I should ride my bike and break my leg. And just get cooed at by all these girls and be like, it would make me feel a whole lot better. But still, the fact remains, with John, we were sitting in class one day. Now, this class was taught by a teacher named Miss Gaynor, and I do not remember what her first name is, but she was like this little old black woman, all right, just this little old black chick, refused to drive a Buick. In her mind, Buicks were old people cars, and she wasn't old, so she drove like a Cadillac STS. We used to always say that she was balling, and you'd see her coming too, you'd see her coming up, as like, there's Miss Gaynor right there, this great big huge ass land yacht, just like like in 1972, deuce and a quarter, just like pulling in the parking lot. just rolling, but still. So Miss Gaynor, this nicest little old black woman in the world, nicest lady in the world. All right, John's in class one day, and Miss Gaynor is going through her whole lesson, and John says, "Hey, Miss Gaynor, do you want to hear a joke?" Now, it was easier to let him finish, right? It was easier to let John just do his thing than to stop him. Because if she had stopped him, then he would have just continued to be more disruptive. So it was like, okay, just let him do his thing, let him get it out of his system, and then we'll continue on. So she's just like, all right, John, what's your joke? All right, all eyes are on John. Every single eye in the classroom is looking at John. All right, and he knows it. He's just sitting there. And you could see the wheels turning in his head. You could see him just trying to figure out what joke he was going to tell. Because I don't know if he was ever fully prepared for the fact that she would say yes. All right. So he starts looking around the class as he's telling the story. Because John was nothing if not an amazing storyteller. So he's sitting around and he's telling the story. And he says, there's these two guys who are standing in front of a judge on a Friday for drug possession. And the judge says, I'll let each of you go if you come back Monday and you've convinced 10 people not to do drugs. And so Monday comes and they're both standing in front of the judge Monday morning. Judge looks at the first guy. Judge says, how many people did you convince not to do drugs? First guy says, I convinced 10, just like you asked. And the judge is like, wow, how do you convince those 10 people? And the guy says, well, I drew a big circle and I drew a little circle. And I said, the big circle is your brain before drugs and the little circle is your brain after drugs. And the judge says, awesome, exactly what I was looking for. And lets the guy go free, he goes about his life. Judge looks at the second guy. Judge says, how many people did you convince not to do drugs? And the second guy, says, I convinced 100 people not to do drugs. And the judge says, damn, how'd you convince 100 people not to do drugs? All right, guy says, I drew a little circle and I drew a big circle. All right, I said the little circle is your butthole before jail and the big circle is your butthole after. Miss Gaynor freaked. She lost her mind. Oh my God. She starts screaming at John, right? Reading him the riot act. I have never in 45 years, just screaming at him. I mean, just yelling him up and down, calling him every name but a child of God. Meanwhile, the whole class is dying. We're falling out of our chairs. We're just laughing hysterically. Funniest joke I'd ever heard. It was like the second to the last class of the day. So we were already exhausted. We were already tired and we didn't really care. We were just out of energy. We were slap happy and we were just dying in that class. And I remember looking over at Jonathan. I remember looking over at John. And as soon as I saw his face, I knew no matter what he did in his life from that point going forward, it would never be as great as this moment. He would never experience anything as awesome as this, because for that 5 minutes, Jonathan Stouffer was the funniest person on the face of the planet, because it was one of the, to me now, even looking back, oh my God, it's still one of the funniest moments that I'd ever experienced in the history of anything. It was God, it was so hysterical. Even now I think about it, even now I laugh about it, because it's just one of those hilarious moments. But still, I figured I would share that with you guys. I thought it'd be kind of a funny little story, funny little moment to share with you guys. Nothing too long here, not a super long video, no philosophical views or anything. I just thought it'd be a funny story to tell. But with that being said, guys, we're gonna bring this video to an end, and I will catch you all later. Peace.